Hey, how you doing? Saturday morning here at Built Not Bought by Bruce. Just thought I'd give you an update. I'm super excited. Got a bunch of stuff going on. I think you've seen the new tank. As well, we have the alien tank with the longer fender and the sissy bar. This tank's going to go with the shorter fender. Everything's coming together. I'm loving the way the tins have come together. I'm real happy with it. Now it's time to turn attention to a few other things, and I thought I'd just tell you what some of my philosophy or the way I approach these things. So the frame on this bike is going to be painted. I'm doing the paint myself. I love painting. I just found out a couple years ago when I did a bike, hadn't picked up a gun in a spray gun in 40 years. And man, oh man, I just had such a good time with it, so I really enjoy it. But when you're painting, and it doesn't matter if you're powder coating or anything else, for me, what I don't want to do is I don't want to paint the frame, do a real nice house of color, maybe it's going to be metal flake, maybe it's going to be pearl, whatever. Do a really nice paint job, go to put things together and find out that, oh crap, I gotta put a weld on here, I gotta put a new tab on here, this doesn't fit, this is gonna scratch the paint, whatever. And motorcycles are smaller and easy to work on, but they are intricate and you gotta really be careful. So for that reason, I'm trying to do things in the right order here. This thing's gonna come apart and go together a lot. It's gonna happen a lot. Because I want to make sure that I've got everything right so that when I go to do the final assembly, everything is done. I'm not going to have to grind, weld, change, do anything. So in that vein, I'm going to do a couple more videos. I've made a decision on the front end. I want to do a video about that, and I'll share that with you here shortly. The other thing is I've teamed up with my friends down at Precision Frameworks. I've known Brent for a while, good shop. I tons of respect for those guys, and I've been doing a lot of research on engine stuff, and I think I've made some decisions there. And as it turns out, Precision handles the brand that I'm thinking of, which I'll do another video on. But I will tell you, I believe I'm going with Hammer Performance. Man, I've watched their videos, I've looked at everything on their website. Those guys get it. What they talk about, what they have, their technology, it makes sense. And the price for what is going to happen is not bad. So I'm going to do a separate segment on the engine. Today, my goals, I want to get the rocker boxes off of here. And this is very funny. This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, making sure that everything is good. We wanted to get a look at something behind the cam cover, so we needed to take the pressure off the push rods and stuff off the cams. So we took the rocker boxes off. First thing, this cover does not come out from under the frame. They're tight on all Sportsters. I don't know what's been done on this one. I think the problem, this cover drags on one of the bolts trying to get it out. And all of the bolts in here are, you've got the head of the bolt, which is a fairly thick head, and then you've got a washer under it. And as soon as I took the bolt out, I was able, it's tight, but I was able to slide the cover in and out. Looking at videos and pictures and stuff on other Sportsters, it looks like the factory bolt is one of the ones that has the head and the washer or the shoulder as one piece, which would lower the profile. And I mean, we're talking 1/16 of an inch kind of stuff. So it's really tight. Am I ever glad that I didn't have the frame painted and try and jam that thing on? The other thing that's interesting, sorry, just in reference to that, so now I can do something about this. Now I can fix it, whether it's the bolts, whether I have to modify the cover a little bit, whatever I'm going to have to do, I deal with that now before the frame is painted. The other thing we found that was really interesting, and no offense to the guy who did it, I know it was done at a shop because I had to have it remounted, but the speedometer was mounted off the side here. So it's a bracket welded to the frame. It was sticking out the side. There's no way he could have known, and honestly, I wouldn't have thought about myself. When I took the rocker cover off and went to pull the push rods out, I couldn't take the push rod out because it hit right in the center of the bracket that was holding the speedometer on. And you couldn't get enough angle on it to get it past the darn bracket. So the only solution to that problem, without removing the bracket, would have been to take the motor out of the bike to take the rocker cover off, or rocker box, well, to get the push rods out. Again, not workable. When I put this back together, I'm planning on doing the final assembly on the motor in the frame. I don't want to try and wrestle this whole thing into a painted frame. We'll put the smaller pieces in that are manageable, and we'll build it up from there. So anyway, that meant had to relocate the speedometer, and that probably wasn't a bad thing, because it didn't take much of a tap with a soft-faced hammer on the bracket. That TIG weld looked awesome. That bracket broke off of there in one little tap. You know, just one of those things, didn't get good weld penetration. It really wasn't very strong. So, not a bad thing that I found out about that. Now we can relocate that mounting tab and clean it up a little bit and stuff for the speedometer. And also, now we know that that we have a problem with the clearance here. So, you know, a bunch of things come from that. That's why I say this thing's probably going to come apart, go back together, come apart, go back together a few times. So my goal right now, I want to get the push rods out of this thing so there's no pressure on anything, just so it's sitting static, that's fine. I want to get all of these welds back here ground down so that they're clean and out of the way, and I know that's done. And then what I want to do is put one of the fender and gas tank combinations. Don't even need the gas tank. Well, although I'm going to want to make sure that everything, all the brackets and everything fit under here with the new gas tank, of course. So what I want to do is get the back wheel back on with a set of tins, maybe swap the tins out and have both sets on, and get the bike back on its wheels so that I can check all the measurements, check measurements for the front end, and this kickstand needs to be modified. It's a little too long. The bike doesn't have enough of a lean when it's sitting. I've always been concerned that a good gust of wind or somebody, you know, turning around and bumping it with their shoulder and over it would go. So we're going to shorten up this kickstand a bit, or get a shorter one of the two. Lowbrow, I think, has a shorter one, so I'm going to check that out. But those are some of the things I need to do. Once I know that this is all clean, good, everything fits, then I can kind of move on to another section of the bike. So I'm going to talk about the front end soon. I'm going to talk about the engine real soon, because I'm real excited about what we're doing there. I think you guys are going to like it. I'm going to do some grinding. I'm going to get those push rods out of there first, then I'm going to cover up the motor, do some grinding. Maybe I'll take some video of the grinding and stuff, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.